All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Phil Pugh, Director of Emergency Management at Memorial Hospital in Belleville and the Hope Coalition Chair. Thanks for joining for our quarterly coalition meeting. Looks like we got about 36 folks on the line now. I'm sure a few folks will join as we continue. Hopefully, this meeting won't last too long today, but we do have a few important items to discuss and also giving everybody an opportunity to share some information with our partners across the region. I'm joining you this morning from actually sunny Seattle, Washington, right now. So I'll give you a little bit of just some personal insight on me. I'm out here for my daughter. She's getting married next year, and we had a food tasting or whatever for never done nothing like that, you know. Uh, so it was pretty awesome yesterday. I was gonna put pictures in here, but I don't want to make everybody hungry. But the weather is great, and I will be back home several hours from now tonight and back in the office tomorrow. But if you do need me, feel free to reach out and to either myself or Lee, and we can assist you in any manner that you guys need. As a reminder, we had it earlier. Please, if you are need to step away from your microphone, please use your mute button. Don't hit the hold button if you're using phone, so we don't get any background or elevator music. Take an opportunity for those of you who have IMATS accounts, log into your IMATS account, make sure it's still there. It is one of the things we need to make sure we have access to if and when the state needs to push out stuff from their cash inventory. It's a great tool to use for the state. So please make sure your account has not lapsed. Every 90 days, you gotta at least log in once. We got the basic agenda today, along with a few updates from last meeting and a look back at the coalition plans update and vote. So we'll talk about that when we get to it. But we've got a few notes there that we want to discuss today. We will do a quick round robin for our roll call. We're at 39 folks online, so we'll start with our hospitals, starting with Anderson Hospital.
Phil Eric Brandmeyer is here, representing Anderson and Community Hospital Staunton.
Thank you, sir. Alton Memorial.
Good morning, Aaron Rogers here at Alton War Hospital.
Good morning, Aaron. Thank you. Boyd. Anyone from Boyd on? Nancy, are you on? If you are, you please put your note in the chat. All right, we got Staunton. So Fayette. Fayette County Hospital. Nope. All right, Gateway.
Hi, Ashley Marshall representing Gateway. Rick Wolf has been detained doing something, but he hopes to join soon.
Please tell them to uncuff Rick and let that man go. We don't want him detained. And I know we got Kenny James on as well. Our HSHS partners, Holy Family.
Cindy from Holy Families here.
Okay, St. Elizabeth's. And your partners at St. Elizabeth's. All right. St. Joseph's, Breeze.
Stacy's here.
Thank you, Stacy. And Highland. No one. Okay. Jersey Community Hospital. Anyone from Jersey on? From Memorial Hospital, Belleville, you obviously got myself. Lee should be on. I'm not sure. I can't see all the people in the chat. Scott, are you on as well? Once, twice, thrice. No, Scott. Okay. Memorial Hospital, Chester.
This is Georgia. I'm here.
Good morning, Georgia. OSF St. Anthony's.
Good morning, Phil. Dennis Stanford here.
Gotcha, Dennis. Thank you so much. Redbud Regional. Okay, no Redbud. Sparta.
Dale from Sparta's here.
Gotcha, Dale. Thank you. And Touche. And I do see Tina for Fayette in the chat, and Tyler. Thank you for calling Ville Area Hospital. I appreciate that. Thank you. Over to our health departments, Bond County.
This is Wendy with Bond County.
Thank you, Wendy. Calhoun County.
Megan with Calhoun is here.
Thank you. Clinton County.
Yes, this is Brett Moss, Clinton County.
Thank you, Brett. Eastside Health District. Fayette County. Greene County. Jersey County. I got you, Kendra. Fayette, thank you. Macoupin County. How about Madison?
Jacob's here with Madison.
Thank you, Jacob. Randolph County. And St. Clair County.
Good morning. This is Kara with St. Clair.
Hi, Phil. It's Vicki with Monroe as well.
Gotcha, Vicky. I'm about to say, I saw you on. Okay, gotcha. All right, perfect. Our community partners will start with our with IDPH and our regional emergency medical services coordinator, RMSC. Greg, are you on?
I am on, Phil.
Thank you. Our ERC, how about Beth? Are you on?
Good morning, Phil. Beth is here.
Thank you so much. Any of our BJC partners on this morning?
Hey, good morning, Phil. Sean's here.
Thank you, Sean. Good morning.
Brody's here with Trauma Services, BJC.
Gotcha, Brody. Thank you very much. See, okay, Gary's on. Thank you very much. Over at OSF St. A's. Thank you. Any of our EMA partners? Okay. How about MedStar Ambulance?
Good morning, Phil. You got John Nowak with MedStar.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, John. Good morning. And Abbott? Anyone from Abbott Ambulance on? Okay. How about SLU? How about Scott Air Force Base?
Hey, I'm here, Phil.
Gotcha, Tim. Thank you. All right, Kim, I got you from Columbia. Perfect. See you, Tara, too, from Redbud. Thank you very much. How about any of our STARS partners? Got your Carla, Monroe County EMS, and any of the St. Louis Regional Healthcare Coalition.
Hey, good morning, Phil. It's Jason.
Got you, Jason. Thank you very much. All right. As folks join, if you do jump in, just please dump your information in the chat and we'll get you accounted for. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and move on. I do want, we're going to start with Greg as normal, but I did want to take a quick pause to double back, see if anyone from St. E's joined. If not, any of our HS partners, because I've been out, want to give us an update on your guys' status from your network infrastructure outages. So has Brad joined?
Hey, Phil, this is Cindy. I can give you an update.
Okay, thank you.
They are our phone systems are back up to get incoming and outgoing calls. Our emails, we do have some internal and external emails. It's kind of spotty. Our Teams sporadically works most of the time. We are doing business as usual as far as patient care goes in most hospital systems. There are some clinics that are still closed because of the outage and no computer access to old patient records. And the smaller facilities like Greenville, Breeze, and Highland are still on CT diversion for stroke and trauma only, but open to everything else.
Thank you, Cindy, for that update. How are you guys? How's the, I won't say the morale, but how are folks holding up? I know it's a lot of work, trying to do some work, all those workarounds. How's the staff doing?
It is a tremendous amount of work, tremendous amount of paperwork. Surprisingly upbeat for the amount of work that they're having to put in. And I can just, as I can say, I can only speak for Holy Family for that. But they're just digging in and getting it done to take care of patients. And we're on day 11 today. And we probably have another week at least.
Understood. As we've talked with Brad, whatever we can offer as far as support, we've offered, some command and control support for the command centers as well. It sounds like you guys have got it at least mapped out now, and it's just a lot of work. It will continue to be that way. From our stories here at Memorial Hospital Belleville, we suffered a similar outage back in 2014, the year before I got here. And I think it was 17 days, 12 or 17 days. Those two numbers stick out. And it was a tremendous weight on the staff to make sure that whether it was lab orders, whatever, everything was matching up, just, kind of going backwards in time a little bit. We forget how much we rely on the electronic health record and computers in general. So even when you're doing downtime, it probably doesn't prepare you for this large of an outage. So hopefully things, like you said, over the next week or so, you guys are back up on your feet and folks can get back to doing business as normal. So please let us know if you need anything.
All right. Thanks a lot, Phil.
No problem, Cindy. Thank you. All right. Outside of that, we'll go ahead and get started with our traditional agenda. Moving over with IDPH with Greg. Morning, Greg.
Good morning, everyone. Just on the HSHS thing, and I know this is way too soon and the pain is happening, but I would really hope that at some point, someone like Brad or Dawn or anybody from HSHS would be able to, present to the region some great information on how you dealt with some of the major issues you had. And as I said, you're in the middle of it. You don't want to hear about additional work, but I think it would be so beneficial to our region and to the other hospitals if we could, learn from what you guys are going through. So I just throw that out there from an IDPH standpoint, because this has happened in the state. I don't know that it has happened to a system as large as HSHS, but I do know it has happened to other hospitals, and I think it would be a great learning experience for us. I will leave HPP to Phil. I did have a couple of other things that I wanted to touch on. One of them is that letters of participation, which is an EMS requirement of all providers, EMT agencies, hospitals, participating associate and resource, be completed every 4 years. So the system coordinators of your resource hospitals should be sharing that form specifically for the hospitals that are in their systems. I believe the CEO, CNO have to sign some, and I believe the emergency management person has to sign some of those. So just in case you get a question from the C-suite or why are we doing this, it is a requirement every 4 years. It was done back in 2008. 18, and they're just going out now because they were updated. So just in case you get a question, that's what you're going to be receiving from your EMS resource hospital. Also, I sent last night to many of you the trauma fund distribution letter for the hospitals that reside within the geographic region of EMS Region 4. The hospitals like in Macoupin and North and way to the east are not actually in EMS Region 4, but only Region 4 hospitals get a cut of the trauma funds. I sent that letter to you guys because it really should go to your ED manager, ED director, but unfortunately with all the changes, I can't keep up with the ED manager and ED directors at every one of our hospitals. So I'm just asking you to, do me this favor to make sure that you forward those to those people in those positions so they are aware that money will be deposited for the EMS trauma funds in their hospital account. The last thing I do have to say, and what I say every month, is Dan sent out the hospital reporting reliability stats yesterday. There's still a number of hospitals who are having issues. I bring it to your attention. I think we may have to go with some of those hospitals of requesting an official plan of correction. So if you've got that, please look at that and make sure that you forward the information that there are issues going on. Nobody wants any more work, but we do have several hospitals that are just consistently having problems with reporting those numbers correctly. And that's all I have unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Greg. Any questions for Greg? Okay. Well, as far as HPP stuff, Greg, I didn't have any major announcements. Not sure if Teresa, because I wasn't able to make the last meeting. Were there any things that I may have missed? I did go back earlier today or yesterday to double check to see if there were any things, like grant related or otherwise announced. Were there any things from the previous meeting that I may have missed?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. No problems, at least that I'm aware of. No, no snags or anything like that. So, yeah, I think it's going well this year.
Okay, good. So yeah, things do sound like they're kind of on track. We are still slightly ahead of schedule, just based on where the grant is at IDPH. So I know it sounds weird that, for those of you that are new, our grant year starts 1 July, but traditionally our grant, we don't have a fully executed grant until February, March, April timeframe following up, which kind of puts most of the hospitals or organizations that have project requests in kind of a tight spot, and it puts us in a tight spot for spending. But it sounds like we are still moving at a record-setting pace, even though it may seem somewhat slow to some folks. We will kind of talk about those impacts as well on the calendar update that we'll have later. So let's go ahead and ease on down. Over to Beth. Beth, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Since we're talking about grants, the FEP grants for the most part have been executed. I have seen a couple of reimbursement requests come through already. So thanks to Jenna, she did a great job. Unfortunately, she has moved on as of 6 days ago. Not sure who is going to take her place, who's going to process anything related with the FEP, but we wish her well. As far as diseases, the COVID numbers are increasing a bit. I just looked up nationwide, within the last week, hospitalizations are up 15.7%, and that number's almost a week old. Total deaths are up 17.6%. So we're seeing some numbers start to creep up a bit, and I don't think that's probably a surprise to any of you. I looked up the sewer shed numbers in the St. Louis region. We have a few communities where there is significant increase in COVID detection. That's usually a precursor. It's kind of a warning that the virus is out there, and it usually follows with increased number of cases. The ACIP is scheduled to meet on September 12th. We expect that they will approve the monovalent COVID vaccine, and from there, I would anticipate within the next few weeks to month after that, we will start seeing the new vaccine along with recommendations. The trifecta that CDC is worried about is the COVID, the flu, and the RSV all starting to increase in the fall season. Not unexpected, but it's going to keep you guys busy. It's going to keep the health departments busy, I'm sure. And then the last thing, I can't remember if I said this last month or not, but the FEP Summit, sponsored by IDPH, is expected to happen in June. The IDPH got the okay to put out another request for proposals, request for bid, but they loosened it a bit. Now it's going to go statewide. So fingers crossed we'll have some kind of a summit in June. And to follow up on Greg's point, in addition to doing a presentation for the region, I would think that would also be a very good presentation for the entire state at the FEP Summit if you guys are interested once you get past this and get to catch your breath. That's all I had, Phil, unless someone has any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Beth? No? Okay. And I agree. Once HSHS gets a chance to slow down and have done their own internal after actions or system after actions, it'd be great to have someone brief on exactly what they did through this time frame. So great, it'll be great lessons learned for the entire region. Perfect. Okay. Over to STARS. Anyone from STARS jump on? If no one from STARS specifically jumped on, we do finally. I did put in a St. Louis Regional Healthcare Coalition slide. So if Jason or if you'd like to provide any updates, that'd be great.
Yeah, thanks. I'll just plug a couple preparedness activities we have coming up this September, coinciding maybe coincidentally with National Preparedness Month. But this afternoon at the St. Charles County Emergency Operations Center, we're hosting our 2023-2024 Integrated Planning and Preparedness Workshop. This will be where we'll organize some community-centric and some cross-disciplinary preparedness initiatives to support UASI priorities, HPP priorities, and just come up with some consensus direction for where we're heading in terms of St. Louis community emergency management. So Hope Coalition partners, you're welcome to participate. There's a virtual link that I'm actually just going to put in the chat. So once we have some insights gleaned from the IPPW, we will pivot to some more discipline and capability specific conversations. Those will be our THIRA SPR workshops. And we do have a healthcare coalition and public health centric THIRA SPR workshop scheduled for this, Thursday, the 21st of September. And that will also be hosted by our St. Charles County EOC partners. So So just kind of taking the time as we start to transition into a new grant season, just to organize and catalog our priorities. So pending any questions, I think those are the big updates on the St. Louis Regional Healthcare Coalition front.
Any questions for Jason?
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, Jason. All right, I have myself up here for Reamer, but I don't know if Mike Gilbert is on. Mike, are you on?
I am. We've been extremely busy over the last couple months with both call outs and with assisting with planned events. So we have done NASCAR, we have done IndyCar. We've been called out to a couple large fires that we've assisted with rehab on. So we've been busy. We're starting to look at our downtime as far as planned events, and going to be looking at getting our training back up and moving when we're not as busy.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mike. I got a spot in here for Lee for the member plan transition. I'm gonna let Lee kind of talk to it, but I will just start you off by saying that we are looking to move away from potentially move away from Member Planet as our kind of membership management software of choice. So Lee, you want to kind of just give a basic what we're looking to potentially do over the next couple months?
Hey, good morning, everyone. So yeah, we are looking to move away from Member Planet to a solution that is a little more user-friendly, especially on the back end for those of us that are doing all of the actual communication through it. We've looked at a couple of different solutions, and we continue to look at solutions. If anyone has recommendations, please send them over. We'll look at them. We would like to be able to have a better way of doing registration and showing the appointments or meetings or activities that we have spread out across the region at any given time. More of a calendar format as opposed to just a list. We're also looking at just being able to more easily provide information to you and get information from you. So basically everything that we do with Member Planet now, but hopefully adding to that some enhanced capabilities to make the work more effective.
Also, one of the things that we'll be trying to add is more of the ability to, as Lee talks about, keep you informed. But our grandiose idea when we first started this back in 2016, when we first branded the Hope Coalition and put the website out. As you guys know, we have a public facing website, the swillhope.org. That's the domain that we maintain, which we will keep. But it is very static. It is, it's kind of to draw you in and then join and then go into Member Planet. One of the solutions that we are looking at would kind of combine both of those together. So the public facing website would in turn also be the internal website as well. So it wouldn't be such a jarring difference between the two. So for your user experience, it would be a little bit better. Also, it would also provide us an easier way to provide community-wide updates through our local blog posts or whatever. That's one of the things that we wanted to do, and we have the capability to do on our current website. It's just that using the back end, and for those of you who are, nerds like myself, I'm putting myself in that category. Using the back end of WordPress can sometimes be very easy, and sometimes it's just a little too much of a headache. And when Lee was saying, as part of making it easier on the staff, on us to get information out, sometimes that's really just it. Is that we just it's very time consuming to manage a full website, but some of the other solutions make it a little easier. So we're looking to do that, and hopefully that'll give you guys a better user experience. And we are open to any suggestions on how to make that better. Really want to give you a better calendar, and that's another thing too, as Lee pointed out. So, all right. Coalition calendar update. So last month we talked about transitioning to a battle rhythm across the coalition that fit a ton of needs and provided predictability, et cetera. So we can look out, months, years in advance and kind of know what's up. We are going to still move to that, but we're kind of going to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out of transitioning to that new calendar battle rhythm. So I'll talk about this on the upcoming event slide, so you'll see where it kind of ties into just a little bit later. But the overarching theme, at least what I want to get to you, is that until ASPR really defines what BP 1 through 5 is going to look like within the HPP grant language, so the Healthcare Preparedness Program grant language, what each year is kind of themed around. That's what we kind of discussed earlier. There's a theme, there's a certain theme to each year. This year was chemical. We don't know what BP1 is going to look like. So that may be pediatrics next year, or burn again, or something like that. So the jury's still out on that, so there's no real documentation there. Hopefully they will provide some at this year's National Healthcare Preparedness or National Healthcare Preparedness Coalition Conference. That's in Vegas this year. Hopefully they will be providing us some additional updates and what that's going to look like, and that'll help us shape the calendar even more. So we'll kind of be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. We'll finish out the year with our natural battle rhythm or our natural meeting rhythm, but we will highlight some topics for the remainder of the year that will be consistent with the calendar that we provided last month. And you'll see those later on the upcoming events. So hopefully we'll get there, but just so you know, we're not making a very abrupt transition. We want to also, as we kind of talked about, we want to also give some of the coalition partners around where they may have a themed month where half of that coalition meeting is on them to provide information and updates or to lead. So we want to provide them with the proper amount of time to get prepared for that. So I just want to keep you abreast there. I would say big news, or the big thing that we got to kind of we were supposed to get done this month is our planning and governing documents vote. So now there two things. I'll preface this with two things. A couple months ago, starting 1 July, we have a folder out there with the comment review matrix. We've talked about it all year. That you guys would be able to go out and you could review the plans that you have now. But as you know, for those who've been here for a while, when we update each plan, we do have a comment review matrix that everyone puts their information into and gives back to us so we can consolidate your comments on any of the plans and make changes accordingly. And those reside out on I won't call it Dropbox, but it's box.com or something like that. It's just a public box where we put all of our plans at. Recently, I guess as of like last week or week before last, we noticed that I noticed that the folder is out there, but there are no documents in it. So you have probably a link. Some of you may have clicked on a link and went to an empty folder. And that's my fault because they're in the same box, but just in a different folder, which is, embarrassing to say the least for the nerd here, as it's the self-proclaimed nerd, that I didn't put them in the right box. So the goal was for you guys to be able to take a look at that stuff and provide the comments, what changes you wanted to see, or if there were any changes at all. And we didn't receive we didn't receive any changes. I did receive a few via email, which is fine. But I don't think the lion's share of you guys had the opportunity, if you were out there looking for it, to see those documents. That said, I will talk about the major documents that were added and the changes that we did make across, and that's, when I say we, I'm talking about myself, Lee, Scott, and going through the plans and making changes and developing them as we go through, i.e. the chemical annex, which was the new addition this year that we kind of validated during the Mercy exercise back in July. So we use that as our tabletop to validate the plan, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to show you kind of a snapshot of what we added and what we across all the plans. And we'll take a look at that, and then we'll make a decision if we want to move on with the vote to move forward with these plans, or we want to extend that. So that's what I will be asking for at the end of this, but I do want to provide you at least with what I know has changed and what is up to date. So this is a kind of summary from the governing documents that we have there, our quote unquote bylaws. They're just our governance document. We are not incorporated, so we're not a business or anything like that. But the project proposal submission deadline recommended changes. We've talked about that all year, but changing the title from bylaws to governance documents, and then the project proposal deadline from 31 December to November 30th. We've talked about why that's important and the timing. We talked about grant related stuff, but that's the only thing that changed that we're proposing that needs to change in that document. When it comes to the emergency operations, the regional emergency operations plan and the support annexes, we maintain the COOP orders of succession as written. We were trying to extract that and create a independent COOP document, and we will still do that. But I think that needs to be massaged a little bit more because there are a few nuanced things on the business side and IDPH side with the grant that go along with it that I think we just need more time on, and definitely will need input from the executive committee to make that happen. So we just maintain the orders of succession as written in the regional EOP, which talks about how the RHCC will be managed if Memorial Hospital Belleville is not here, and et cetera, et cetera. So that stayed the same. The chemical annex, so our chemical response annex, it mirrors or mimics the radiation annex. If you could go in and do a find replace radiation for chemical, we did that first, and then we made the changes that I'll show you here in a second. But the goal with that is to make it the exact same anyway, so we're not varying too much away from how we respond, and we'll show you what changes were made between that. But things that you want to that it does not do, just like with the RAD one we talked about last year, does not provide treatment, protocols or anything like that directly. A lot of what we do pushes the reader to source information so you can develop, your organization can develop protocols, et cetera. So whether you're an EMS agency or hospital, local clinic, those are, we want you to develop your own protocols, as we cannot direct you on what to do, but we send you to the kind of the source information. In this case, it's the Chem management site, also the CDC as well, for recommendations so you can build your own protocols. It unifies the first receiver PPE across the region. That's something that we did that back starting 2017, 2018, and it just kind of codifies that in the document. You'll see that. Also maintains the independent ChemPAC annex. We believe that, while this is a chemical response annex, the ChemPAC annex is a specific need, and it is very detailed. So we thought that should remain as a separate kind of plan or separate annex to the annex, if that makes any sense, because everything is wrapped in that very tightly together and keeps the information very cohesive that way. And then again, BP1, we're going to be looking to take the Chem annex, the RAD annex, our high consequence infectious disease annex, and just make it into one CBURN annex, since they all mirror each other. we would like to make that one complete document. That way, you don't have to go anywhere else to search for information on those topics, whether it's toxic industrial materials, a biological agent, or high consequence infectious disease. Everything will be in one document. We think we have the right format that makes it easy to read, and then we can just kind of add into that format, just expand upon it. So instead of having three independent documents, we'd have one document that covers the full gambit or full spectrum of CBRN. So here's the change in the actual bylaws. I'm using air quotes, our governing documents. Again, changing from July 1 to November 30th, not December 31st. That's really the only change that we are recommending. And again, that's based on trying to make sure that you as an organization, your agency has enough time to get the paperwork in. We feel 5 months is plenty of time to get the paperwork, your submission in, but it gives you more time, and we can move the paperwork portion of it with our grants management office up a little bit. It just helps out in getting the budget submitted on time, because that's always a crunch. So it's a 30-day difference, but it's 5 months of time to submit a project. And in the chemical annex, just like in the RAD annex, you'll see it right in the executive summary that we're trying to make sure you understand that this does not provide treatment guidelines. That's not its purpose. It is to get us as a coalition on the same footing to be able to respond and recover from a large chemical incident at a healthcare facility or in the region generally. All right, here. Again, this is where it talks about the development of your treatment protocols. As you can see, familiarize yourself, Department of Health and Human Services, the KIM website. Again, this is where we're trying to direct providers to make sure that they're building what they deem as appropriately fit and within their organization. This isn't something we could not host workshops around, and maybe we have similar protocols, but again, everyone has their own medical direction, and their some larger systems have kind of their overarching guidance for that. And we're not going to try to bend against the will of a large system like BJC or HSHS, or try to tell some of the smaller hospitals what to do exactly, but we want to give you the resources. Moving here, the annex for PPE for first receivers. So again, this is our recommended list. The list that you see there is what we purchased for the region. It also breaks out that we are using kind of a 4-to-1 ratio of air purifying respirators to powered air purifying respirators. That's our recommendation, that 80% of your respirators are non-PAPRs, if you will, simply because it is, several things. One, again, we talked about in the past, you get a higher protection factor from a full face respirator. You have less points of failure, and it is cheaper. So you're more safe. You're less apt to make a mistake, and it's more economically feasible. So that's the recommendation that we have in here. Obviously, we can't direct you to do anything, but if you were to submit a project proposal and say, I want 50 PAPRs for my organization, that's probably not going to get approved, because I think that would be against what we've set up for us as a region. And again, we're outlining what we believe to be the best course of action here. Again, still recommended, and doesn't mean that you can't add PAPRs or supplied air respirators, SCBAs, or what have you. You can do any and whatever you'd like, but we'd like to try to keep it as fiscally responsible as possible. So it outlines, again, the entire arsenal of whether it's, supplies and or equipment that we'd like first receivers to have. You'll notice that we have not gone into specifically, and we probably won't, just like in our high consequence infectious disease, when we're not going to tell you what style of N95 to purchase. We've been down that road before. We're not going to tell you what type of specific burn ointment or brand to buy, but we will give you some of the general terms. In this instance, we are trying to unify everyone because it will keep our training regimen very consistent across the entire region. As you know, with our decon training program, we go out and we want to educate folks on the exact same things. If we go to your hospital and you have something that we've never seen before, it makes it very difficult for us to just do that on the fly. I think we're very capable to do that, but this keeps us consistent. The reference to the KIMPAC annex here, again, like, so for our first responders, emergency responders, fire, EMS, when they're out there and they see something, smell something that fits the organophosphate nerve agent criteria, and they want to get into that KIMPAC, we're asking that you activate that KIMPAC annex. This annex will not be used to respond to a KIMPAC. So as we discussed earlier. Okay, so let's see that about 5 or 6 major differences or changes to what we do have. We did not see anything that we needed to change. Maybe some smaller administrative commas, misspelling here or there throughout the other documents that we do have. I mean, we have a total, I think, 9 now documents along with the emergency operations plan for the region. Looks like things will be consistent there. I do think that probably this upcoming year, big change will be in the TIC-P. We're not recommending we making any changes now. Our TIC-P is our tactical interoperable communications plan, but because there's some things from a state perspective that are changing that will impact that, but we're not going to change that now until we have that fully fleshed out. So everything else would pretty much remain the same. So my question to you guys, with knowing that information and the understanding that some of you, if you did not have the documents just sitting there on a file or on your computer somewhere and didn't look at them over the last 60 days, do we want to move forward with the administrative side of this and approve the plans as written with those recommendations, or suspend a potential vote for another 30 days and vote on it in October? So I would like to open it up for a little bit of dialogue on what you guys think the best course of action is. I'm open to either. This just, for me, it wouldn't make a difference either way if we voted today or suspended, but I'd like to hear from you guys. So I'll pause because I've been talking a lot and see if we can get some feedback.
Hey, Phil, this is Beth.
Hey, Beth.
Can you hear me? Okay. I recommend that we put it off for another month. I'm glad to hear that. Well, I am personally glad to hear that the files weren't there, because I always had a heck of a time finding them, and I know the health departments did too. I think that'll just give everybody some more time to look at them, the documents. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. And you were at 6 Mississippi, by the way. I was about to start talking. But you rescued me. Thank you. Anyone else? Thoughts? Okay, hearing none, would someone like to make a motion to suspend? This is, again, as I say every year, this is probably the most formal we'll ever be each year with regard to voting on plans. This is the one thing where we somewhat follow Robert Rules of Order, but would someone like to make a motion to suspend the vote till October?
Phil, this is Eric. I make a motion that we suspend the vote until October.
Thank you, Eric. And yes, Tina, I will send out the link again. Anyone like to second Eric's motion?
I'll second.
Who was that? I didn't see your name pop up. Sorry.
Tyler from Carlinville.
Oh, Tyler. Thank you very much, Tyler. He seconded. And before we vote, Tina, did your hand? Oh, were you voting or were you seconding, Tina? I take it that's what you were doing.
I was thirding.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we have a motion seconded. So we'll do this through because we have a lot and we do have a quorum just based on the number of folks that we do have and from the specific organizations. So I'll do this through abstention. I will say if you do not want to move, if you would like to oppose this, please raise your hand in the chat. Outside of that, then you will concur with your silence if you would raise your hand in the chat or come unmuted and make your objection known. I will pause for a second. Giving folks an opportunity to say no. Okay. Hearing nothing, we will say, and seeing no hands raised, we will, the motion second and carried, we will delay or suspend the vote until next month, which would be October our next meeting is when? October the 4th. Okay, I will double verify the link today and make sure that all those documents are in there so you can take a look at them and make any recommendations that you want, and we will get them applied as needed. Then we'll move forward. The good thing is we are ahead of schedule. Getting this one, our chemical annex tucked away. We won't have anything to worry about with regard to requirements from ASPR. So we're well ahead of schedule. And once we get this done, we'll be looking forward to consolidate that CBURN annex. So thank you for the commentary and thought here going into this, and we'll move on from here. So upcoming events. All right, we got a lot of stuff on the calendar coming up. Got a lot of decon classes to close out the year. September 13th here at Memorial Hospital in Belleville. Then on the 21st out in Jersey. The Belleville Marathon is September 30th. HSHS will be out there supporting with Memorial Hospital, BJC, and REMERT. So lots of folks there. If you would like to volunteer to assist out there, by all means, hit me up, shoot me an email or shoot Lee an email. We can figure out a way to get you involved. Even if it's just picking up or putting down a tent or some chairs or putting up some medical equipment, whatever you'd like to do, I'm sure we can find a spot for you. Hopefully that will go off without a hitch this year. Now, once we get down here to where we see the coalition assessment tool. So those highlighted items in yellow are aligned with the calendar that we proposed last month what I was talking about earlier. So the coalition assessment tool, the executive committee strategic planning meeting, HVA, and the IPPW, I'm highlighting those as yellow, and I'll try to maybe continue to do that or some form of something to signify that those are scheduled, calendar battle rhythm topics that we will be leading. So next month we're looking at the coalition assessment tool from ASPR, and that's going to be pending ASPR's release of that. Each year, it should start over 1 July, but sometimes it's not until the middle of October. Sometimes been late. I did not check it this morning, but I did check it last week, and it was not open for this year. So we will see if that's open. If not, we'll just shift a few things around. But that will occur on that day. So we'll be talking about that. That'll be the theme, so to speak, for that meeting. And we'll be looking to vote on that day as well. So once you guys had some opportunities to look at those documents again. First receiver decon out at Fayette at October. We're going to have an executive committee strategic planning meeting. So that one will basically incorporate looking at our previous plan, which we've talked about this. We've done that portion already, but looking at the upcoming plan. So looking at where we were and where we're going, and hopefully that will give us about another 60 days to finalize the plan and publish it for FY or for calendar year 24, but it will go for FY 24 over the next 5 years. So that will incorporate a lot of things with it. Another first receiver decon class at Highland, then the IAM conference, and those should be both. The second IAM conference there should be the National Healthcare Preparedness Coalition Conference. So the IAM conference will be in Long Beach and November 3 through 9, and the NHCP conference will be in Las Vegas, November 28th through the 30th. The project submission deadline, which I would like to maintain that, it will be November 30th of this year. And again, pending the approval of the coalition governance document that we talked about earlier. That's a link right there. So if you want to link to that project request, that 2024 project request portion, there is a direct link to that form. We'll be talking HVA at our November meeting, so that's the theme there. And IPPW will be the December meeting. That will be the major theme there. So that will give us everything we need to get the strategic plan, everything squared away going forward. And then we're going to keep the solar eclipse on the radar. And while I got it there, Beth, are there any updates on solar eclipse planning by chance? If you're still there.
Yeah, sorry, I had to unmute. Not right now. There have been some changes in leadership at IEMA, so I expect something will start again in the next couple of months.
Okay.
So no update.
Perfect. Only update I'm giving Rat is going to be about twice as long as the last one as far as the duration. So that'll be cool. So hopefully everybody gets an opportunity to see it. Make sure you protect your eyes and don't fall down any steps, because we had a few folks that did that. All right. Open the floor up. Anyone from around the region?
Hey, Phil, this is Marty in Region 5.
Hey, Marty, go ahead.
Hey, I'm going to do a shameless plug. Weathering the Storm All Hazards Conference is coming up. It's going to be October 18th from around 9 to 5. I will put a link to the Spark Coalition website that you can sign up if you want. Early bird registration now through September 18th is $45. After that, it's $55. It does include a continental breakfast and lunch, and it's down here in Marion.
Yes, our partners to the south down there in Spark I know when Mike was there and he started, that's been something pretty awesome down there. I know Lee was talking about trying to get down there. We're going to try to see if we can make it as well. So we definitely support that. Thanks, Marty.
Thanks, Phil.
Hey guys, it's John Nowak. I've registered for that twice and it's been kicked back. Is that open for everyone?
Yes, it is open for everyone. It's open to the public. I don't know why. I will put my email down if in the chat if you want to send me an email, and I will try to get something to you.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, John, for let Marty know. Appreciate it. Any other announcements from around the coalition?
Bill, it's John Nowak.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
just a couple things on your events. Same day as our marathon, Belleville Marathon, we also have drag racing, the NHRA, in our community in Granite City area. Just you know, a heads up, so that'll bring in about 30,000 extra folks into our area. It's not as big as NASCAR, but it still brings in, you know, the potential that we could have, you know, an influx in our ERs. So just a heads up on that. And then I'm hoping Greg or Elizabeth is still on. You know, every time we do an event, or MedStar, that I do an event, I always create an EM track. And I've noticed the last few times when I'm creating the incident and I'm adding participants to the incident, that I only have the option for IDPH now. I used to literally have like Greg with IDPH, Elizabeth with IDPH. So I'm just curious if they've been able to, or if they have the view, or if, you know, if they're receiving that when they want to look at it. So that's kind of a question.
I'm a little, so I should be able to see it if I switch over to EM Track. You're saying you're inviting us to it?
Yes, sir. And like I said, it literally used to have your name from a participant from IDPH. So I used to be able to literally click on your name and Elizabeth. But now I've noticed when I'm creating those incidents or those events, that it just has the option for IDPH anymore. I don't have actually like individuals.
Oh, individually. John, I'll go in and look to see. I don't know why we would have been removed, but let me look at it and see if I can find myself, and then I can ask Dan that question. I think he's here Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So if I don't find myself in there, or I'll probably just reach out to him and ask if there's been some kind of change, either for me. I'll look at yours too, and see if somehow something got changed on your rights or something. I'm not as familiar with EM Track as I am with EM Resource. So I may have to reach out to Dan. So I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. I know Elizabeth likes to watch it. You know, any event that she's been involved in, we've always got her attached. It's just strange, Greg, that I believe I used to have, there was probably over 25 or 30 IDPH members that I could invite. And it's just now I only have the option of IDPH. So not a big thing, but, you know, in case you want to know what's going on or see movement that's going on with these events, that's kind of important.
Right. And they may have changed it. Maybe when you pick IDPH, we all get access to it. What's the next thing you're going to be using EM Track for, John?
Actually, will be September 16th and 17th, I think. Don't hold me to the date, but it will be the Oktoberfest here in Belleville, which is usually a pretty good size event. And then, of course, like I said, we have the marathon, and then we have the NHRA drag racing at the end of September.
Okay, I'll make a point to try and log on then also.
Thank you, sir. Phil, that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, John. I will say that during the Mercy exercise, we had a drag race going on. We had a soccer game and da-da-da-da. So, art imitating life, life imitating art. It all seems to have a rhythm to it. Anyone else from around the coalition?
Hey, Phil, just
Yes.
one thing that I want to say to our HSHS colleagues. In addition to good luck through all this, and you know, we're all sending our good thoughts to you, I will let you know that I think they've done a spectacular job in pivoting every time they have a monkey wrench thrown here, thrown there. Just wanted to let them know that from an IDPH standpoint, I have heard a number of compliments from folks in Springfield with how they are dealing with this really, really bad situation. So just wanted to send that out to them that they are being recognized. I'm sure they're getting lots of complaints probably from the public and other people that they're not moving fast enough or whatever. But at least from an IDPH standpoint, we've recognized that they're doing a fantastic job trying to deal with a really difficult situation.
Indeed. Hats off. All right. Any last parting shots? Going once, twice, thrice? Okay.
Hey, Phil.
Well, oh, there you go. Go ahead, Tim.
Look, I was waiting for John, and long story short, National Preparedness Month. When we're gonna be doing some stuff out here at the base, but I'm also looking for somebody that might want to do a community presentation, doing a lunch and learn, either the 27th or the 29th. So if anybody's interested, have them hit me up.
Is there a specific topic you're looking for, Tim?
Community involvement, preparedness. I'm looking for, somebody to talk to a group of people about, why they should be prepared, how they should prepare. We're buying about, a bunch of stuff to help them like build their own bags, to be prepared, but to make the presentation good instead of, us getting up in front of them. Like last year we brought the guy from St. Louis and he gave them, like a storm spotters class. So it could be anybody that, has a good subject matter, about an hour, that,
Okay.
can talk about community, home preparedness. All right.
Okay. Perfect. And what's the dates again?
You see, I'll shoot it to you so you can put it out, but I think we're shooting for the 27th for the lunch and learn, and then the end of the month is gonna, overall activity is gonna be on the 29th.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to end it here, team. I appreciate everyone's time. If you do have any things you want to get included, you can throw it in the chat. We'll make sure it gets out. We appreciate everyone. We will see you guys next month. Take care.